from WBBZ-TV Sports. It's time to beat the champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoitsky.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Byllye Lanes in beautiful Bradford, Pennsylvania, the home of Zippo and the home of some pretty good bowling you're going to see this afternoon, or tonight, or today, or whenever you're watching, because you're probably taping this show because you love it so much, right? Well, with me are Hall of Famers Sue Novoitsky and Janelle Sabin, our excellent scorekeeper. I got to ask you first, where'd you go to high school?
It was in Niagara-Wheatfield.
And how were the math teachers there?
They were excellent.
Okay, we're going to put you to test today because we're expecting some high scores.
Okay.
So get your math skills ready to go.
All right.
And speaking of good scores, it's going to be an interesting show today because we have a defending champion that's not only a really good bowler, but we also have a lefty-righty mix. Tell us about it, Sue.
Well, that's right. So his challenge last week was to take on those heavy hitters that have been done so well on the show. Jason's challenge this week is to take on bowlers who, the experience level is about the same, but they're coming from the other side of the lane. So they're left-handers on an untested shot. So they're like starting from ground zero, and he's already kind of worked in the middle of the lane, seeing some transition. So he's got his work cut out for him, but it'll be interesting.
Jayson Schubbe is our champion, and is he going to be our champion after this week? Well, he's got some tests ahead of him. We'll have to wait and see. So let's get it going here on Beat the Champ. The champ is on the right. That was Jayson Schubbe. Now here comes the challenger, and that is Sean Dietz in his banana shirt.
Well, we hope it doesn't mean banana splits for his sake,
right?
But
I think he wants to be the big banana right
there
here.
There you go.
So he is the pride of Lockport. He went to Star Point High School, and wanted to give us a shout out to his buddy Brandon Kurzakowski. So we got that out of the way.
These lefties all stick together, let me tell you.
There's a shot, man. There is a shot. So he gets a little air under his ball.
He does. So we bowl league together on Mondays at Clarence. Sean is on my team, and one of Sean, what he has to keep under control is his power, because sometimes he hits it so hard that it gets away from him. So for him, reading in his power is his challenge.
Here's our champion, Jayson Schubbe, West Seneca guy.
I'm sure he's going to stick with his plan. Nice and easy.
And he gets the 10-pin lead. So he's got, he's married over the summer. He's got the two sons, 16 and 18-year-old, Dylan and Dalton. And sure wants to say hi to them. His beautiful wife, Michelle, she is here on hand. And he's got the golfer outfit on, I tell you what, being the golf guy that I am, I enjoy watching him in this outfit. And he says it works for bowling as well, and not that time. Wow,
no,
that's a surprise.
He's playing with that tape on his thumb. It's a very good possibility that hung up on his thumb, because he missed that by a lot. That's not typical of him.
Yeah. He's shaking his head over there.
Yeah, let me tell you, it's important to be able to shake that off and move on, because it's another one of the mental challenges of this game is leaving that shot behind you. Oftentimes you'll come back still feeling bad about that shot, and you can't do it. You got to just make another good shot.
And he
just
does.
Like
Comes back 256 to win last week's show. So the guy's got it. You know that for sure. So 227 in a clutch finish in the semifinals, and then he had 256 in the championship match, and opens up with the open and the strike. And here's Sean trying to open up with back-to-back strikes.
That's right. And I have seen him, this young man. He's been pretty good on his game, and he can throw pins. When he hits the pocket, they splash everywhere. You can see how that one kind of looked like it was even more airborne, and that's what he does. He holds on to it just a hair too long, and then it gets up onto the lane and going to the right, which is obviously kind of like pulling the ball for him. But for him, getting it off his hand quicker is like I said, is his challenge. He squeezes a little too long.
Sean trying to pick up the 3-pin spare, and he does. 25-year-old. Yeah, there's that 200, 207, 200, but he says cumulative average 220. So he's on his on a traveling system on Saturdays, like many of you.
Yep. Yeah, those days are over for me. But yeah, really? I put my time in with those travel leagues. We bowled travel league because there was once a traveling all-star league that was pretty elite, the Black Velvet League. and that was 5-man. And let me tell you, those were long Saturday afternoons.
Yeah, I'll
They're
bet.
down to 3-man now.
Oh, okay.
Nice shot.
Comes back and he's got a 10-pin lead. Put a good mix there. Just didn't quite get the 10-pin to cover.
Yeah, we did talk about how the new challenge for Jayson would be to face off against a lefty who is coming in on a fresh condition. And that could be a plus or a minus, because when you have a fresh condition, sometimes it takes a few shots to let it smooth out and have the back ends kind of stop overreacting and get a little smoother. So I think that Jayson's tactic would have been to try to get out in front quick for the lanes to settle down, and obviously, that 10-pin miss wasn't what he had planned, but a double here would put him right back tied with Sean.
So we talked about it on last week's show about the single pin approach when you're trying to get the spare. And it seems like 90% of the guys going straight at it. Not Sean Dietz. He's playing the big old hook to get it.
Well, he's going cross alley too. Or, if you're going at your side, that you're going to hook it depending on left-handed, right-handed.
Right.
But he flattens it out for for his corner pin.
Okay. It's a lot of break there on that 10-pin, though. That's what I'm saying. Nice comeback strike there from Jayson Schubbe, the champ.
Yep. This could strike here makes this a tie match, even give him the ability to go up one. So nice comeback. It's very calm. And look at his leverage. That leverage is great.
And he gets
Nice.
He's
See how he
excited
stays
about that
down with
one. Yeah.
it?
Yep.
This feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ.
Instant replay on Beat the Champ is brought to you by Transit Lanes and Keglers. Join us for bowling, food, and drinks.
Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
And you see Janelle there on the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard.
It's a mouthful, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of cars you selling there, Mr. Castellone. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. If you want them, they're there at Castellone. Janelle Sieben, our scorekeeper. Pride of, you heard earlier, Niagara Wheatfield High School. Going for the double. And we've seen it on that lane a number of times, man. That 8-pin just doesn't want to go down.
Yeah, and it's really because the best carry on this particular condition is to be high flush, and if you're off by just a hair, you're going to leave the 8-pin for lefties, 9-pin for righties. That's the high flush leave.
Yeah, not only do we see the 8-pin, but we've seen the 8-10.
Yeah, see, now that's just the opposite. That's the ball hitting the oil, skidding, and never getting the rotation to get those back pins out. So that tends to be a weak shot. This tends to be a very strong shot.
Okay, so Sean comes out with strike, spare, strike, and a spare. And Jayson with the open and a triple. So he's going for 4 in a row here and trying to take command of this match early.
Well, kudos to him for putting that 10-pin behind him and getting his strike face back on, because he's now taking command of this match simply by letting that spare go.
Beautiful ball there. That was textbook.
Yep.
Jayson Schubbe, 37 years old from West Seneca. Mentioned he recently married Michelle and has the 2 teenage boys, and his grandpa, Joe Simpson, who he plays golf with in a league at Elma Meadows. And he wanted to be sure to say hi to Grandpa today.
And his dad, Jack's been a very successful bowler in his own right. And
yeah, he says
not bowling so much now.
His dad was the bowling
bowler.
teacher, and his grandpa the golf teacher. And there he goes.
Wow.
5 in a row. That's the way to answer an open in the first.
Yeah, and in talking to him in the interviews, he said that ball gave him a little bit of area to the right that he could just relax and know was going to come back. And that was a perfect example of that. He let that one go, opened it up just a little bit, and came back beautifully.
Gives him a 20-pin lead here. I tell you what, Sean, he brings that ball up high on the backswing.
Doesn't he?
Yeah. I'm afraid if I did that, it'd end up in the ceiling.
Yeah, no
here,
kidding. He does get that ball up there. And you know he's got a grip on it because when he comes down, he's still got that death grip on it.
All right, so you saw the big hook for the 10 pin, and you see the pretty much straight shot and miss on the 7 pin.
Well, I'll be honest with you, when I was watching him go up, he was standing in the middle of the lane. That's very
right. You want to go cross lane, right?
Yeah, you want to give yourself a little bit more margin than that. He cut that one real close.
He's not happy. He's not wasting any time getting up there on lane 21, and he is coming up empty again with a 3-pin lead.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see a little frustration in his motion.
After doing this for 4 years, I have seen, you've pretty much seen it all.
Open.
Yeah, he
kind of knows his fate.
He's letting his emotions get away from him now because it looks terrible up on the screen, but we've seen we've seen it flip like in a snap.
Right. Well, here's a prime example. Jayson opens up with a horrible miss. Really, you got to call it in the first frame. He's come back with 5 in a row and can really put the hammer down with a strike here in the 7th. Another beautiful ball, 6 in a row, and in complete control is Jayson Schubbe, our champion, our defending champion, I should say, and trying to make it 2 championships in a row here on Beat the Champ.
Well, nothing makes you relax more than knowing that you've gotten inside of your opponent's head and your opponent's sort of given up the ship, so to speak.
Right.
Right now, Sean's maximum, if he pulls it together, is a 206, and we're looking at Jayson with 170 in the 7th. He's just got to fill 2 out of the next 3 frames to shut Sean out, even if Sean were able to strike out.
Didn't like that one. And gets away with it. He got away with it. He bowed his head right after he rolled that ball, thinking,
maybe a little excitement there, knowing that one more is going to seal this deal. And
right. Yeah, and you see him flick his wrist up in the air like he didn't follow through correctly on that one. He's kind of like going through the motion.
Yep, important that he picks this up, though, and that's pretty much going to be it. If he can pick this up and get good count on his next shot, game's over.
Here is the 2-pin cover, and he does it beautifully. Jayson Schubbe, our defending champion, and he is in control here over Sean Dietz. And what do we got? 60-pin lead with 3 frames to go, and Sean leaves a 7. So,
and that will be it.
Yes, okay. So Jayson Schubbe is going to move on here, and Sean Dietz got a little frustrated in the middle there, and he's going to say goodbye to Byllye Lanes here in beautiful Bradford, Pennsylvania. Jayson Schubbe moving on here on Beat the Champ.
I'm here with Sean Dietz, who had to take on a very lined up Jayson Schubbe, first lefty out here today. That had to make a difference.
It did. Fresh oil ball went down the lane a little bit longer, so I left a couple 7s in there. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, it's hard to keep. It's hard to stay in it when your opponent's just striking at will and very lined up, isn't it?
Yeah, I kind of anticipated his line breaking down a little bit with 3 games of urethane, but I guess that didn't happen.
Well, we also said where you hit people, what time you hit people matters here too. But great job making the show again in a couple of months. You've been back here twice, and I hope to see you at Rapids, where I know you'll have a good shot there as well.
Maybe. We'll see.
All right.
Sean, thanks for coming down and supporting us. You've been to every one we've had in Salamanca and Bradford. We really appreciate it, and here you go. Thanks for coming down. Yep. Thanks.
All right, nice job, Sean, and we'll see you again. And we'll be back with the next match, Jayson Schubbe versus Brandon Miller.
Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Our champion and defending champion, Jayson Schubbe, won that first match, 236 to 153. tough going there for Sean Dietz, Sue, but Jayson really bowled well.
Yeah, he did. He put the smack down on him early and actually, sort of defeated him and, kind of got away with that one, not competing right back at him.
And here's his new challenge. It's Brandon Miller from Jamestown. And he starts off with a strike. Very nice ball. He's a machine operator out of Jamestown, 48 years old. He has his two sons here, Brent, 21, and Kenny, 17. And they are here hoping Dad brings it home.
And we're here again with our proprietor, Paul Geiger, who you've bowled against Brandon in the past, have you not?
Yes, yeah, he actually bowls in our center in Salamanca on Friday nights. Him and his partner won the league last year. So.
And we got a split. So Jayson Schubbe, our champion, he won his first match with a 236, but a tough start here in match number 2. Paul, a lot of activities with the kids here. Tell us about that.
It is, our junior program is second to none. Greg Hoover and his wife Sue help him. They do a fantastic job with our kid program. Kids in Pennsylvania, there's a lot of opportunity for scholarships, a lot of youth tournaments that they go to. A lot of the kids here go to junior gold. It's very good. I mean, obviously you need kids coming up through the ranks to keep your when they get older, they turn into adults, and you want them to be your adult bowlers ideally. So yeah, this is great for us down here.
Yeah, so the future looks good.
It does.
Because you can see while we're doing the telecast over our shoulders, they've been, it's been real busy behind us.
Exactly. Yeah, Saturdays are wild.
Well, much like not all sports, bowling is a game of a lifetime.
It is. It is.
I talk about golf being a game of a lifetime, and bowling is the same thing. And there's you're not playing football forever, you're not playing hockey forever, but you can bowl and stick with it right till till your dying days. I hate to say that, but
that's the plan for me.
Well, we're talking about juniors, but it translates all the way up to the seniors that keep the business going.
So there's an interesting start to this match because Brandon Miller comes out here, and he goes strike. Last match, Jayson Schubbe opened up with 9 pins, and he opens up with 9 pins this match, but he came back with a 5-bag or 6-bag. And so here we have Brandon, and can he get the turkey to start and put a little heat on our champ right away? Yeah,
that's true. Jayson hasn't had a tremendous amount of pressure on him. He's had some pretty high scores throughout through all his matches. But this is the first competitor who's actually in his zone. Like the other 2 guys, the 2 right-handers that he bowled, were further to the right, trying into the oil, basically starting the ball out in the dryer boards and pulling them into the oil, where this is a competitor that's right in there with him, playing deeper on the lane.
Yeah, Brandon's actually a little bit more left, just to try to miss the urethane carry down. That's what he told me his plan was going into the match. So far, so good.
Jayson Schubbe trying to
great recovery.
Bounce back, and he does. So again, last game he started off with an open frame. He came back with 6 in a row, and now he comes back with the double after that, and trying to make it 3 in a row here in the 4th frame.
He almost looked like he moved a little bit to the right and straightened up, didn't he?
I would agree with that. So.
There's Janelle keeping our score up to date here on the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard.
Well, it's funny because just in talking to the bowlers, they know he's using urethane, and they're actually looking ahead. It's kind of like looking ahead to the pairs you're going to bowl on, making a plan on what they think is going to happen, how he's going to change the lanes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Great shot there.
Sign of a champion right there, man. Comes back with 3 in a row after the open, and
he had to square up. I mean, he changed his direction. He was opening the lane up, and now he's squared up his shoulders and he's played more direct up the lane.
You see Brandon, 48 years old, from Jamestown, averaging 223 across the board, and he's at 8 300s, 290 at this house. And he's got himself some work to do here in the 3rd frame.
He definitely missed that one right of his target, and it went straight into the dry boards, and it almost looks like it slows down when it hits the dry. ball itself starts to slow down and just made a left-hand turn. He's going to have to stay away from those dry boards to the right.
So he's got the 4-7-10. Let's see what the odds of making this are. Oh, he gave for it. He gave it his
Pretty
best
close.
shot. Yep. So there's an open frame for Brandon Miller in the third. So we've got strikes in one open per bowler. So who's going to bounce back best? We'll see. And there you see it. You got strike, strike, open, strike, strike, strike.
Santa, he uses that full approach now, doesn't he?
He does.
He's got his heel hanging right off the back of that approach.
And light there, and he pays the price.
Oh, so that one he kept in.
You saw it. It just went off the last shot and in too far.
Yep.
No reaction on the back end, and that was the result.
I don't know for sure if he actually made an adjustment, because you don't want to do that. You don't want to
No.
make an adjustment on the other lane from what happened on one lane, because
Right.
they could play different. And we did see
Yep.
an 8-10, 5-7 on this lane, so the oil is
Got a shot here? No.
is carried down,
So,
and that must be
another
obviously
open.
what he hit.
Absolutely. I meant mind adjustment.
Or Brandon
You're
Miller,
thinking
and
you don't want to get it too far to the right.
Exactly,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? You know, you're a bowler.
You're exactly right. Don't
Brandon,
miss right. Don't miss right.
Yep.
Keep it in.
Yep.
Back-to-back opens for Brandon Miller. And here is our champion, Jayson, trying to go to 4 in a row. This kind of eerily different, or similar, excuse me, to last match where, you know, he got down early and came back big time. So for 4 in a row, Jayson Schubbe.
What a great shot. This looks like a good time to take a break. We'll be back with more Beat the Champ right after this. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. What a great job Jason's done of
Yeah.
playing his own game and keeping the ball in play and really kind of defeating his competition by not giving up, staying in the pocket, and being relatively unfazed by these bad shots. He's not letting an open hold him back or make him panic. There is zero panic in this man's game.
He's in control. 0 for 5 in a row, and he's got it. Boy, I tell you what, those are 5 beautiful shots right
Yeah,
there.
he made a great adjustment.
He has got himself another serious control of the match here, as he's up by 30, and Brandon could use a double here. Going for the first one. And he gets the mix, so gets himself back in the groove, so to speak, with a strike there.
He is down 37 and halfway through.
The way Jason's bowling right now, it's going to be a tough hill to climb.
This is almost exactly what Jayson did. In fact, it is exactly what Jayson did the last match with the open in the first and
Yep,
then
exactly.
throwing
On
the
his way
rest.
to a 236, and I would not be surprised if he beats that 236. So, Brandon Miller, you need a strike right here, buddy.
Great
and you got
shot.
it. So he bounces back after the 2 opens with a double, and
And that's what you got to do because you never know.
Jayson going for 6 in a row. He did it last game, en route to that 236. Open and then 6 in a row. He's got 5 here as he bowls in the 7th.
Jason's been steady, 227, 256, 236, and this is all while, you know, the lanes are basically changing throughout the day.
Smooth delivery, and there's a 6-bagger.
6 quality shots.
He's making your thing look good out there, isn't
He
he?
sure is.
So, Paul, I hate to bring this up, but the folks in the world should know that you're a Miami Dolphin fan. You know,
What?
unfortunately.
I am proud to be a Dolphin
You
fan.
are? Well,
I am.
I always say that if the Bills go 2-14 and they beat the Dolphins twice, they've had a good year. So,
The Dolphins were saying the same thing this year.
and, so the You know, if you're a Dolphin fan and you don't hate the Bills, you're not a Dolphin fan, and vice versa.
That is true.
I take myself back to the 20 straight losses we had in that decade of the 70s. And there she goes, folks. 7 in a row. Count them, 7 from Jayson Schubbe, and that is why he is the champion here on Beat the Champ, trying to make it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, he's getting the swagger, isn't he?
Absolutely.
You know, smooth is a good word in sports, tempo and whatnot, and I'd say he is extremely smooth right now.
Yep.
Nice shot. So Brandon bounces back, trying to do what he can. He's got 3 in a row, trying to go 4 in a row here. He's in a huge hole, about 38, 39 pins, 37 pins, but he's got some hope. Only if he can basically strike out and get an open from our champ.
Well, if you examine the game, he had one bad shot. He made that bad shot in the 4th that actually kind of affected his shot in the 5th mentally, and you know, he'd be right in this match too if he didn't have that.
And he's got another, so 4 in a row, good bounce back. But those 2 opens in the 4th and 5th frame are looming large right now, as our champ going for 8 in a row here in the 9th frame. Up 37.
Brandon still has a 242 left up there on that score sheet, though, so Jayson's job isn't done yet. He's done a good job of putting the pressure on Jayson to keep striking.
Jayson Schubbe, pride of West Seneca. A little bit light, but he gets it. Count them, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row after an open.
And you know, honestly, Brandon's forced him to need every one of those. And right now he just needs to spare, good count and spare to shut Brandon out.
Well, how'd you like to shoot 242 and lose? That'd be tough.
He could shoot 242 and not even have to be able to get up on the lane. It could be over right here.
Jayson Schubbe. For the win, yes!
And there it is.
My goodness. What a run. Our champ is looking like a champ again, and he is going to make himself into the finals here because he's going to get this win over Brandon Miller. Jayson Schubbe going to be defending his championship in the championship match coming up next.
I'm with Brandon Miller from Jamestown. Defeated 268 to 231. 231 is a score that was good enough to win almost any match today. You hit him at the exact wrong time.
Yeah, you can't make mistakes against him. He's solid. I watched him the last 2 or 3 matches. He's solid.
It's true. His tempo has stayed the same for the 2 weeks. Now, missed a little bit to the right on that right lane, and it hooked up high for you, and it sort of set off a 2-frame issue, I guess, to say an issue.
Well, actually, I did miss that one. The other one I didn't miss. I don't know. I might have pulled it in maybe a board, and it just caught some oil, but I pretty much threw that one where I wanted.
Well, the urethanes does funny things to the lane with the carry down, and I think that's what happened for you there.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to. It's not excuses. I got to be able to adjust to it. So.
All right. Well, you did a great job. Finished with all those strikes, and you made him work for it. Money from Paul.
Brandon, thanks again. Every time we've had this, you bowl in our center on Friday nights. We appreciate your support, and hope to see you in Salamanca in February.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Thanks.
Always nice to see you, and we'll be back to see if Jayson can finish this week out. See you soon.
Welcome back to Beat the Champ, and here is our championship match. The defending champion and still reigning champion, Jayson Schubbe, is going to take on the kid, 22-year-old Ryan Kress. That's Ryan Kress out of St. Joe's. If you went to St. Joe's High School, say, hey, I know him. He's the twin. And you're right. And the lefty starts off with a bang. Yes, Ryan and his brother Tom, twins. Ryan is the old man of the group, 3 minutes older than his brother Tom.
That's right.
And you've seen Tom on this show before, so pretty good tandem here for brothers.
Yep. In fact, we'll see Tom next week. He made the show, and he will bowl on our next week's show. So they could feasibly meet each other if
Ryan can bring it home right here.
Exactly.
Well, he's got a tough task because
he sure does.
Our defending champion, Jayson Schubbe, last 2 games started off with an open, not this time. He rolled a 268 last game, 236 earlier. So 236, 268. You kind of like his chances here because he's a little bit on a roll, so to speak.
Yep. Even through all the transition that happens on the lane, he's been right on top of his moves. He's adjusted when he's had to. He's left the frames behind him that, gave him a little bad reaction, made a decision, and so far he's just been smooth and solid, like you said, smooth all day. He is very smooth. Here he goes, trying to get the double start off with. Last game he had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in a row after an open. This time he starts off with a strike and a possible open here in the second. Got that one in.
Yeesh.
I think if anything, from sitting back here, the challenge looks like lane 21.
Yeah.
We've seen some weird leaves on 21. It seems like there's some carry down that you have to maneuver around. Jayson's been making it look easy all day, but I don't think it's been as easy as it looks. He's been making decisions and avoiding these trouble spots as he's been going along.
Oh, he's got a shot. Oh, I tell you what, pretty good effort there, trying to catch the right side of that 9-pin to slide it over, but it goes for naught, and he has the open. So he's got 1 open in the first game, 1 open in the second game, and here we go, the third. But he showed a great ability to bounce back.
Yeah, but that's transition. It's normal to have changes come on the lane, and what you do with them once you see them happen, that's the ticket. And he's been so far very good at recognizing as soon as he sees a change in the lane, making a decision and having it be the right one. And that's the trick, is it's got to be the right one.
So what about, we had a lefty earlier, and now we've got Ryan Kress with the lefty. How do you see the lane change here at all from the previous guy to this guy?
Well, exactly. I was gonna definitely talk about that. So what happens when you're first bowler out there?
Yeah, that was close.
Yeah, that was close. And you definitely want to make your spares against Jayson. There's fresh oil out there, and that tends to have very clean back ends. So when the back ends are clean, there hasn't been any oil carried down to them yet, they tend to be kind of overreactive. You're going to see a big jump in the back end. And then as you roll balls, it tames it down, and it'll just be a little bit more even, less severe. And the advantage of being the second lefty is that Sean did that work for him. Sean smoothed the lane out for him, so he should have a little bit more of an even reaction.
Right, that was Sean Dietz in our first match today, who had some tough time out there, but
because the lanes change on you when it's fresh, the lanes will automatically change pretty quickly as you carry that oil down, and now they're going to be they should be a little bit smoother.
So an early lead for the kid, Ryan Kress, 22-year-old, graduate of St. Joe's, now a UB student in political science. And here's the champ. And he can't get that 10-pin to carry.
Wow, and that was a pretty good shot.
Yeah, solid. But we saw him bounce back each of the last 2 games after an open in the first. Not quite responding there, but there's a long way to go.
Yep, this is a critical time in the day because now you've got, Ryan coming out at a pretty good time for him, and these lanes they've been evolving all day, and they're going to change, and at some point Jayson's ball reaction won't be as good.
Perfect cover there from our champ, Jayson Schubbe. He's now bowling in the 4th. He's got 14 pins down, and he could use one right here. As you see, our scorekeeper, Janelle Sabin, and the Castellone Automotive scoreboard.
Many autos.
Yes. Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler. a little bit light, and he doesn't get it to carry. So
Okay, so what's happening here is Jayson's being pushed in, and as the lane starts to break down, he's got to keep moving. And we already know that 21, from watching it, is much tighter down the lane. So that's what he hit. Ball came light because he's inside of that. He's inside of that hole that he's created with his urethane ball, because the
Right.
urethane ball will carry down the oil. So what you're seeing on the lane is most likely been created by his equipment.
right.
So now
Well,
he's got.
because he's out here forever.
Yeah.
He's been bowling so well. It's tough to beat the champ, so
It's
to speak.
almost created like an over-under on that lane, which means if you miss it to the right where the boards are like real dry, you've got an overreaction. But if you keep it in, that oil has carried down is to your left. Now you've got an underreaction. So we call that over-under when it goes high or light, and you're just sort of in that danger zone.
Here's Ryan Kress, and that's a nice shot there.
The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute.
Instant replay on Beat the Champ is brought to you by Transit Lanes and Keglers. Join us for bowling, food, and drinks.
Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
Is it coming? Not enough.
Again, that carry down is hurting him. He did not expect that to happen.
He's got a bucket there. 4-pin leave. And while he's sparing, his young opponent, Ryan, is throwing strikes, and so it's an uphill climb now for our champ.
You said bucket, and I thought of Paul real quick, and I don't think we've mentioned that Paul is on assignment with his UB football job.
Yes.
And you're doing an outstanding job filling in for him.
Thank you. Right on. Yeah, the incomparable Paul Peck. Nice cover there. Yeah, Paul, 4 years on this show, man. That's a credit to him, man. And he does a great job. And I think he does a great job on UB football too. He's pretty exciting, and he's had some pretty fun things to cheer about with UB sports. Let me tell you. So he's a great job at UB and a great job here. And we got the kid going for 4 in a row. Not this time.
Amp that up a little bit.
Well, that's what Jayson Schubbe needed right there. And
you're right about that. It's he's down a lot, but he definitely needed that striking to stop if he was going to have any chance at all.
The pride of the University of Buffalo, as we were talking about Paul Peck doing that, and he's got it covered. So Ryan Kress, the UB student, 22 years old, and his brother Tom here, watching closely. And I asked Tom if they were to go at it here today, who would be the winner, and he says, well, I kind of like to think that I would. And you're talking about bragging rights.
Well, they can't help each other because one's left-handed and one's right-handed.
I'm partial to lefties myself.
You are?
Yes, I'm a lefty. And he didn't get the 10 to carry. So, if the champ, Jayson Schubbe, can string a few together, we're going to have ourselves a little match right down to the end.
Our longest streak so far in the existence of this show has been 14 matches. Jeremy Zimmerman won 14 in a row. And when you see how the lanes change and how the competitors evolve, you can see how difficult it would be to actually accomplish 14 matches in a row.
Yeah, that is amazing. Tell you, Ryan kind of short-armed that one right there, and he got away with it. He watched that contently all the way down to the end, and he covered it. Okay, so let's see what our champ is made of right here. As he rolls in the 7th frame.
Yep, only one strike this match so far.
That was in the 1st frame.
Okay.
Here he is in the 7th, and he's got one. Just barely, but he's got one.
That wasn't much for a confidence booster, but at least it went down.
Yeah,
so now he's got to get on this 21 and see what he can do here, because the last shot he opened up and he thought it was going to roll back for him, and it didn't.
Jayson Schubbe from West Seneca, 37 years old. He's only had 12 300s in his life. I mean, he's got a sweet dozen. Could use a strike right here to get back in the match.
Okay, so he's staying deep on the lane.
8th frame. Jason
Keeping it in, though. Keeping it in.
Schubbe, yes, sir.
Good
And
choice.
Reminds you of the Rolling Stones, Schubbe. Jayson Schubbe with the double. Now, it's a little closer. It's not exactly tight, but let's see what Ryan can do. If he would throw a couple
He's
here,
cut it to 26.
he can really put some, yes, sir, separation here. He can get one more.
You have 26 pins separating the two. That was a big strike, though, for Ryan. He needed it.
So here he goes in the 9th, and this could say a lot to being the new Beat the Champ champion. The lefty. Boom, he's got it.
Oh, I thought he got that one in.
Right on. And you know, I mentioned it earlier, the sportsmanship, love it. Love it, seeing these guys give each other 5. I mean, not much defense in bowling, so, you know, congrats to your champ, and to your, not champ, but your fellow competitor by giving him 5 as you come back or go back out.
Well, he needs to throw every one of these strikes to make Ryan have to spare in
Jayson
the 10th.
Schubbe, and he is just like a champion. He's not going down easily. 3-bagger for Jayson. Goes to the 10th frame. He could use 3 right here.
3 strikes to make Ryan have to fill the 10th frame. So all he'd have to do is spare a strike.
Okay.
But Jayson still needs all 3 of these to make that to force that situation.
The championship match here at Byllye Lanes.
Yep, last match of the day here today.
Beautiful Bradford, Pennsylvania. The defending champ is still alive.
He didn't like it. I liked it.
Yeah. He's shown some moxie, as they would say in other sports there.
I'll tell you, that's why we play him out, because you don't know what's going to happen.
That's 4 in a row. Hoping for 6 in a row to end it.
No matter what happens, this is a very impressive performance by Jayson.
Unbelievable. 236, 268. And here he's looking at 219. He's got 4 in a row. Does he have 5 in a row? No, he doesn't. He knew he needed that one. He absolutely knew he needed that one. And that 7-pin stays on top.
Well, that makes Ryan's life very easy. He just needs to keep it on the lane.
Okay, we'll see if he can do it. 22-year-old UB student as Jayson.
Such an impressive day for Jayson, though. 208 finish in that match.
236, 268, 208. The spares kind of did him in. You know, he had the one open, and he had the one open in the other games, but this one here, too many spares, not enough strikes. And there is your new champion on Beat the Champ, 22-year-old Ryan Kress. Nice job, Ryan Kress. So he's going to get some money. He's going to get a congratulatory shake hands from a number of people, including his brother Tom, who's over here, his twin. So we'll see all that and more as we come back on Beat the Champ. Welcome back to Lily Lanes here in Bradford, Pennsylvania for Beat the Champ, and the champ was here and was dethroned here on that match. But I tell you had a great day. You had some big numbers out there. Seemed like the last game it didn't just quite carry for you. Left a few single pins.
Yeah, I had a really good look all day, but then in that last game there, kind of lost my reaction on the left-hand lane. And credit to Ryan, he bowled really good, kept the pressure on me while I spent 3 or 4 frames trying to adjust and wasn't able to.
So, Jayson Schubbe, you were the champ, and now you were dethroned as a champ. I got to believe you're going to be back sometime.
I'd like to think so.
Nice job. All right, we got a little award for you.
Yep. Jayson, thanks. Appreciate it. It was a pleasure watching you in the qualifying and top 24 and all day today. Congratulations. Thank you.
Very much.
Yep, thank you.
And there is a new champion here on Beat the Champ,
Right.
and that's Sue Navoyski's got that gentleman right over there.
Yep, you've done what no one else could do today, and that was take down the champion. So what happened out there?
Well, I just I had a little trouble in practice with my ball reaction, but I just knew I had to make good shots, and hopefully the pins would fall. And that's what I did. I had a few issues in the middle of the game with carry, but I threw a bunch of strikes in the last half of the game and was able to carry and ended up pulling it out.
Yeah, 240 is a huge score out there today, and now you have the potential of maybe meeting up with your brother next week.
Hopefully. That's the hope.
All right.
One more match.
All right. Well, I don't know who your dad's going to cheer for that one, but I guess we'll find out. All right.
Congratulations there, Ryan. Nice job. And we're going to see him against his twin brother. Isn't that going to be fun? So we'll be back to wrap the show up right after this. Welcome back to Byllye Lanes here in beautiful Bradford, Pennsylvania, and pretty good match there. We got a 22-year-old champion, though. What did you think of today's actions,
Today was really awesome, and it just showed that, the lanes can change, and you have to, change your strategy to overcome the guy on top, and that's exactly what Ryan did today against Jayson.
So we had 256, 245, some pretty good scores here today. And youth reigns here in Bradford, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, timing is everything, and he came along at the right time. Second left-hander of the day, that helped, and of course, Jason's ball reaction changing. But what a great champion Jayson was, and what a good show he put on for us with all of the changes and all the transition he went through. So next week Ryan might meet his twin brother, who you won't even recognize as his twin, but some local people. A Jamestown guy and someone from Pennsylvania. So this will have a local flair next week.
And you know what? Thanksgiving. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I'm sure I'm speaking for the ladies here as well. Hope you enjoyed the show. We have a new 22-year-old champion, and we'll see if he can beat the champ again next week right here on Beat the Champ. So long, everyone.